अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां स्वगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं वर्जनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरोन्दरतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। हरे कृष्ण दंडवत प्रणाम श्रीपाद गुरुदेव। So we'll be talking today, we'll be resuming. Lord Chaitanya instructs Rupa Goswami. What is that Lord Chaitanya has instructed Rupa Goswami? And what is that we are learning actually? I mean, Rupa Goswami, whatever Lord Chaitanya taught him on the incident Dashashwamedh Ghat, you know, from that Rupa Goswami wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, you know, one of the crust jewels of Bhakti. So Lord Chaitanya has entered into the heart of Rupa Goswami and um, empowered Rupa Goswami. He entered the heart of Rupa Goswami and he empowered it so that he will be able to understand the length and the depth of bhakti. Krishna Sakti Vina Tara Nahi Parivartana. Without a Krishna's empowerment, one cannot, no, one cannot preach. Okay, one cannot bring the transformation. Just give me one. You know, so that's why we should perform bhakti not for the sake of performing bhakti, but there should be an intent of pleasing Krishna. You know, pleasing Krishna is possible by pleasing Guru. Yasya prasada bhagavad prasado yasya prasadan nagati kutopi. If Guru is pleased, Krishna is pleased. Hare Krishna. No. So, what are the qualities of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami that made them very dear to Lord Chaitanya? You know, Aniketa. They don't have any fixed residence. They don't have any fixed residence. You know, they would sleep under trees. Can you imagine? This is Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. They're like prime minister and finance ministers having Srinivasacharya, right? They were like Indras. They were like Indra, you know, sitting in the court, surrounded by people. Apart from that, they're very beautiful. But they are proving to the world, if you want Krishna Prema, something you want that is eternal, beyond the beyond this life, temporary life, material life. If you want to Krishna Prema, that is the if you want to revive Krishna Prema is in our heart. If you want to revive that, to what extent one has to go? If you want to guru, if you want mercy. So they have given up everything and they had only just they were uh, they were actually what is that sitting and sleep when they are staying under one tree. They felt they would be attached to the tree. They would change the. Uh, they would go to another tree next day. Hare Krishna. Madhukari, they would go and beg. Hare Krishna. You know what people would give in India for beggars? Cheap rice. It's so cheap. And you can also eat it. You can keep it and just mix it with water and eat it. You know, cheap rice. That's it. They would just go and beg. Nobody would beg sweets. Right? Then 24 hours non-stop Krishna bhajana. I mean, in the sense, they would sleep 1.5 hour, 1.5 hours, they would sleep. Wow, amazing. And Bhakti Rasa Sastra, they would write literatures. They would constantly write literatures. That is the instruction Lord Chaitanya gave to them. And Chintana. Chintana, they would meditate on the instructions given by Lord Chaitanya. They would meditate on the instructions given by Lord Chaitanya. And they would meditate on the instructions given by Lord Chaitanya. And, and they would constantly think of him. They would constantly think of Lord Chaitanya. So devotees would say, what is uncommon for them? What is impossible for them? Because they have got the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So Rupa Goswami mentions his mercy. Rupa Goswami mentions Lord Chaitanya's mercy on him in the Mangalacharan prayers of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The Mangalacharan prayers of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So in Prayag, Lord Chaitanya, he taught Rupa Goswami for continuously 10 days actually. You know? So Lord Chaitanya said, Bhakti is like an ocean. Shoreless, Bhakti is like a shoreless ocean. It is not easy to describe Bhakti as ocean. So Lord Chaitanya told, I'll take one drop. What I will do? I'll take one drop of this Bhakti ocean and I'll describe this. Para para sunya gabhira bhakti rasa sindhu tamaya chakaite tar kahi ek bindu. So what I will do? Just to help you taste it, I am describing only one drop. Right. So then what is the rarity and glory of Krishna's devotees? I am sure you all will be very happy to hear this. Brahmana Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija, right? You heard that. There are unlimited souls, unlimited, trillions, zillions, quadrillions, unlimited souls. These souls are traversing, they are going back and forth, they are traveling different parts of the universe, universes. But what is our size? We are in different bodies also. Jivas, cats and dogs. You know, that Jivas 8.4 million living entities. Jalaja, Navalakshan, Stavar Laksham, Sita Kramayor, the Sankhya and Pakshana, the Seleksha, Trimsa Lakshani Paswa Chatur Lakshani Manava. So, what is that? So, the species, because of the conditioning, the Jiva has entered, Jivas have entered, Jiva souls have entered different bodies. How many are there? Unlimited. Then these unlimited Jivas, they're moving in non-moving trees, non-moving, moving in different species, right? In that, better than these Jivas, different bodies, Manushya Jati, human beings are better. Why? They are endowed with the intelligence, you know, uh, because they're endowed with the intelligence to understand spiritual life. Uh, what is that? If you have being, I mean, human life, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be Chandala, Mlecha, Yavana, but better than all of them is Vedanishtas, followers of Vedas. Whoever has faith in Vedas there and show interest to follow Vedas, they're called Vedanishtas. You know, so like more or less people in India, Hindus, so-called, who have faith in Vedas. You know, and the followers of Vedic principles, and then they mold their life according to Vedic principles. They're called Vedanishtas. Within that, Karmanishtas means karmakandis. You know, if I do this yajna, I'll get this benefit. If I do that, they're a little more sincere. They have certain rules, sincere rules, but they do everything for a fruity work. So they follow strictly the shastras only for their benefit. If I do this yajna, I'll get. If I'll get that job. It's big. If I'll do this for the benefit of my daughter, for my son. We'll get this, we'll get that. They're fruity workers. Better than them are jnanis, higher than them. Jnani means he has read the scriptures, he understood the goal of life. And most of the times, jnanis are impersonalists. Brahman. So they want to, so for everything they want to know, not this, not this, not this. Brahma Satya Jagan Midya. So Brahman is a real, this world is illusion. Usually, jnanis are usually impersonalists. But in that jnanis, that what is that? In those wise persons, the jnanis, by the dint of knowledge and austerity, they become liberated. What is liberation? Free from material contamination. What is liberation? Free from material contamination. They become liberated. They are higher, but higher than them are muktanam api siddhanam narayana parana. Udurla Prasannatma Koti Swam Mahamuni Vasudeva Purana. Of 1 crore means 10 million liberated souls to find one devotee of Krishna, Vasudeva Purana. Sudurlava, rare to find, not ordinary Durlava. Very difficult to find. Sudurlava Prasantatma. You know? So person who has surrendered his life to Narayana or Vasudeva Krishna is very rare to find. That is the rarity of Krishna's life, Krishna devotee. That's why Prabhupada, in the process of bhakti, you're already liberated. I don't think so. That is, that's okay because we don't have the realization yet. It will come eventually. That's why one should not get down the. One has to stay in the mode of Krishna consciousness all the time. And as one devotee, actually, very serious Prabhupada disciple. Prabhuji, what do you think about your next life? You know? So if I don't go back to God, I'm sure my next life will be much better than this. He said that. Amazing. You know? Then Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataye Vasanta Bhakti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Asanta. Those people who want sense enjoyment and impersonal liberation, mukti, bhakti, mukti, siddhi kami, those people, uh, karmis, they want sense enjoyment, and jnanis want impersonal liberation, they want to become one with the Brahman, and yogis, they want mystic siddhis. They are dissatisfied because these are all on the mental platform. They want to satisfy their mind. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama, a devotee of Krishna, his desire lies what he wants. He wants only service to Krishna. Narayana Parasarana Kodastan Bimbhakti. Sarga Apavargeshu Abhi Tulyara Darshanam. The devotee of Krishna, O Parvati, Lord Shiva is telling, he doesn't care where he is put into. Swarga, heavenly planets, Apavarga, or in the, in the, what is it, our planet, these earthly planets. Naraka, hellish, why they are concerned only with service, Parvati? You should not have cursed Chitraketu. See his example, see his wonderful behavior. So, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama, Krishna devotees, they don't have any desires other than serving Guru and Krishna and devotees. Hare Krishna. So that's why Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvalokam Maheshwaram Suhurdam Sarvabhutanam Jnatamam Santimruchati. What is the peace formula? You want to be peaceful? Krishna says what? Only devotee does. I am the supreme enjoyer. Devotees accept Krishna as supreme enjoyer. Yajna Tapasam. You know, recipient of all the sacrifices, enjoyer of all the sacrifices. And devotees agree, which is true. Sarvalokam Maheshwaram, me as the controller of all the planets. Suhurdam, I'm the friend of all the living entities. Sarvabhutanam. And with this consciousness, with this knowledge, devotees worship me, approach me. They attain a santam richati, they attain peace. Right? So why devotees are peaceful? To the extent devotees have this understanding, that much extent they are peaceful. You know? And as I said, what is the reality of devotee? In 1 crore liberated people, to find in 1 crore liberated people, to find one devotee of Krishna is rare. So devotee is already liberated. Haribol. They have to understand and continue. So then now Lord Chaitanya explained the process of cultivation of Bhakti Lata, Krishna Bhakti. How do we cultivate Krishna Bhakti? you know, so we are traversing, right? None of us made a decision to come into this world on this birth date. On this day, I'll come and perform bhakti. On this day, I'll confirm and perform. I'll come to this earth and I'll become an engineer. Go to America and enjoy. No, we have not made any decision. Did anyone make any decision like that? Definitely not. So we are just helplessly wandering in this universe by the influence of Prakriti, mental nature. But anyway, when we understand that, we should become serious in this lifetime. So what is that? Brahmana, Brahmitik, and we are traversing. We are going up and down, up and down. With the different universes, under cat, a dog, beast, bird, reptile. But one time we attain a human life. Then what happens? That human life becomes even rare. When we, Guru Krishna Prasade Paya, we come in contact with the devotees. One devotee gives a book. Prabhu, take it. Ah, not, I don't want it. Please take it. All right, you take that and you read it. Ah, amazing. Revolve. I never came across. Prabhupada said if you read, if you touch the book, you'll get the power. If you know what to speak of reading it, touch the book. So that much Prabhupada empowered Prabhupada was. You know. So, so what happened? Then what happened? You with the by the Guru. So eventually, chant reach 16 rounds, you get initiated by the mercy of Guru. You seed the plant of a bhakti. Guru gives a seed, of course. When Guru plants that seed in the heart, and see Bhakti Lata, you this Bhakti seed, and you will water it. You will water the seed by Shravanam and Kirtanam. Every day you get up and you chant your rounds. Somebody said today, why don't you start 64 rounds once a month? We'll ask the devotees. Why not? You know, please do that. This 192 rounds was amazing. I never thought I would do it in my life, and I did it. You know, somebody said we did it in every day we did 128 for 2 days, and it's amazing. Wow. So that is an eternal credit, right? There is no guarantee the money you made, the land you purchased, the assets you have. There is no guarantee they'll stay. This will stay, right? Yes. So this, what a rarity it is. It was and it is. Guru gave us the seed and we are watering it very carefully. Bhakti Lata. This is actually the Lord Chaitanya's teachings purely about bhakti, is a nourishment of bhakti, and everyone should hear it with a full attention. And what they will do by Shravan and Kirtan, by performing different bhakti, we water the seed. What is the water to this bhakti lata? Shravan and Kirtanam. Then now with the bhakti. Then what happens? It starts growing. When it starts growing, uh, and if you carefully nourish it, this bhakti lata grows, the seed sprouts, it becomes a creeper, it starts growing, growing. So if you carefully nourish this bhakti lata, bhakti creeper, by Shravanam and Kirtanam, it starts growing. It grows, it penetrates the outer covering of the universe. And it penetrates the Brahman. It crosses the Vaikuntha planets. It goes to the Golok Vrindavan. Take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. And Krishna accepts it. And Krishna accepts it with the prima phala. Then we attain that love of God. That is the goal of life. That is the goal of the universe. Science explains only the functioning of the universe. Science till this day has not revealed the goal of the universe. What is the goal of the universe? Goal of the universe is all these wandering living entities who are traveling back and forth with a different species in different bodies, cat, dog, beast, bird, reptile. Finally, they attain a human life, and they get the mercy of by the mercy of Guru, this bhakti is planted. And if they utilize that human life by nourishing this bhakti seed, to grow into a creeper bhakti lata, and they grow this by Shravanam and Kirtanam and different practice of bhakti, now with the bhakti, and bhakti grows, and it goes to Krishna's lotus feet. Then we'll attain the love of God. Then we'll attain the love of God. You know? So if Krishna wants, we'll go back to Godhead and practice bhakti. Or like Krishna wants to dispatch us to, like Prabhupada came to this world. So, for preaching, and at least, when we attain the love of God, basically, the life is, then we go to the place where Krishna is performing the planet pastimes, and we stay there. Then once Krishna, if like 10th end of Bhagavatam, what happens? He comes to Vrindavan after killing Dantokra, and he sends all of the Rajasis back to spiritual world. When Rajasis went back to Golok Vrindavan, what did they see? Same thing. Wow. They went back to God. Right? So anyway, once in a while, but they're sent for preaching purposes. Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur, Nayanamani Manjari, it's a Manjari. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gunamanjari. Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari. You know, they come for preaching, they establish the ideals, they go back. For the common populace, for the common people to follow. Right? Anyway, so the point is, but sirs and ma'ams, there is a problem. What is the problem? When you are nourishing this bhakti lata, when you are watering this creeper by Shravanam Kirtanam, one problem is there. What is that one problem? Vaishnava Aparadha. Vaishnava Aparadha means you will offend the devotees. Mad elephant offends. When we offend devotees, what happens? Imagine you have a garden, big, big trees are there, and a maddened elephant comes. A mad elephant comes, enters into this garden. What will happen? It will even smash the trees. What to speak of our tiny Bhaktilata? It will stamp on this Bhaktilata, on this tiny creeper, and the creeper is broken and it withers away, dies. No, Vaishnaprad. I'm talking to myself. You know, those people, especially those people who have sharp tongues, or very rajo in behavior, have to be very careful. Because with great difficulty, we are actually nourishing the Bhaktilata. Okay, now 192 rounds, getting up in the morning, chanting our rounds, attending Mangalarti, attending the classes, preaching. But after all this, if you are not careful, what happens? In a weak moment, we'll pay a heavy price. This is not a Zoom call. I have to ask, do you agree? Right? Anyway, यदि वैष्णव अपराध होते हति मत उपादेव चिंदितर सुखियाय पथ. So, if we commit Vaishnava aparad, our bhakti is destroyed. But then, how to nourish this plant? Bhakti lata. Serve the acharyas, devotees, serve the gurus, serve senior devotees, sincere devotees. Please come. Please come and uh, just serve them, give them what they want. So they don't need anything. A little prasad. And learn from them, inquire from them. That is it. You know, when four Kumaras came to see Prithu Maharaj, Prithu Maharaj washed their feet, sprinkled on his head, and he started inquiring. He started asking questions. Four Kumaras said, "Wow, you know the answers, but to establish an etiquette, you're asking these questions." Hare Krishna. Interesting. And the next one, mad elephant offense also happens. Guru Avagya, when we disobey the orders of Guru, then mad elephant offense happens. That's why To avoid mad elephant offense, we should make a fence. We should make a fence to this Bhakti Lata. What is a fence? Association of devotees and constantly listen the dangers of Vaishnava. The dangers of the dangers that are going to come to this plant and what are the different ways to protect the plant from external uh, problems, external threats. We should stay in the association of devotees and listen about Krishna, discuss Krishna, right? And also there is one more problem. So unwanted creepers, bhukti mukti vancha. Sometimes what happens when we are pouring water, this plant is growing, but if you are not careful, weeds will come. They appear like bhakti lata only. They appear like a bhakti lata only. The weeds will come. And if you keep on pouring this, whatever Shravan and Kirtanam, and whatever the so-called bhakti practices that you are doing, excuse me, instead of nourishing the bhakti plant, they will nourish the weeds. Hare Krishna. And what are these weeds? Nishitta achara, unacceptable behavior, kutinati, diplomacy. How are you? Are you all true? Very nice. But how do I use you in the mind, back of the mind? You know, Duryodhan tried to use Krishna so that, Duryodhan tried to bribe Krishna so that he can control Krishna, so that Pandavas uh, can be tackled and handled. Good diplomacy, diplomatic behavior. It's a weed. Our bhakti will be ruined. If all the weeds grow, you start pouring, eventually the bhakti plant will die. The weeds will grow. We don't realize also. Especially people in positions should be very careful. I'm, I'm talking to myself, right? Jiva himsa, violence to the living entities. We should not do any violence. You know, mentally, physically, we should be very careful. जीव हिंसा लाभ अरे इसको इसमें क्या मिलेगा मुझे what will I get what is that what will I get in this process if I am not getting anything I'm not interested labha that is a material tendency and puja and pratishtha puja means so if over a period of time you become senior and adoration profit and a distinction that is dangerous. And trust me, I'm talking to myself. Puja Pratishtha. Pratishtha, in Raghunath Das Goswami and Manasiksha also. Pratishtha is like a woman eating donkey meat. And that type of woman eating, sorry, not donkey, what's that? Eating a dog meat and you fall in love with her. So as soon as you have Pratishtha in your heart, this Pratishtha as a lover, what is that? Kapatata, duplicitousness, you know, hypocrisy, duplicitousness means externally one thing, internally another thing. They will never get bhakti, even if, I'm talking to myself, I have the same fear, should be careful because we are Trillions and trillions of lifetimes we are in this world. But we are making an endeavor to go back to Godhead, go back to Lotus feet of Krishna. So there will be impediments. What is the first impediment? My behavior only. Nishiddhachara, unacceptable behavior, kutinati, diplomacy, and violence to other people, and mundane profit making, you know. And what is that? Puja, you know, puja and pratishta. What is that? Puja and pratishta. What is puja and pratishta? Adoration, you know. Samana madhyana, but we want respect. We don't give respect. Exactly opposite to what Lord Chaitanya is telling in third verse. So we are telling manina manadena. Take respect, then I'll give respect. You give me respect, then I'll think of giving you respect. These weeds, pratishtha, mundane importance, false prestige. Hare Krishna. The watering is misused. When we water, if we have to chant sincerely, but if we are growing these weeds, then what happens? We chant sincerely and when we are doing Shravana Kirtana nicely, sincerely, attentively, but we are growing these weeds in our heart. It's deadly, you know. It is deadly. Hare Krishna. So if we continue, if we without uprooting these weeds, if we continue our sadhana, what will happen? We will get, we will become attached to material sense gratification. You know, oh, we show everyone in the temple, oh, we are great, great. And privately, we'll have a private life. We'll have a, we'll have a private life. And we think, thoda to sense gratification chahiye na. Then, and we become victimized by diplomatic behavior and sometimes take part in illicit sex, so on. So that's why as soon as we see them cut, they should be removed from the mind. You know? Or if you are unable to see them, you should ask devotees, can you help please? But when we protect like this with the association of devotees and sincerely cut the weeds, uproot the weeds, and nourish this bhakti lata will go to the lotus feet of Krishna and fruit will come. Krishna prema. Krishna prema. No, we taste it. Krishna, I mean, after Krishna tasting it, wow, this is the ultimate goal. Economic, dharmartha kama moksha is not the ultimate goal. They are called Chaturveda Purusharthas. But Pancha Purushartha, Bhakti, which culminates in prema, is the ultimate thing. And when you attain this Krishna prema, these four things they appear insignificant. You reject them actually. Bilavangallas Thakur says, Bhakti sthai, Bhagavan stiratara yadishyat, Daivena Sbrata Divya Kishore Murti, Mukti Mukulitanjal Sevati Asmat Dharmartha Kama Samayagataya Pratishta. Bilavangallas Thakur was so attached to sensual life in the beginning of his, in the early days of his life. But to what extent he has achieved, you know. So he writes this. Recently, nowadays, these ladies are coming to my home. One lady is telling, my name is Dharma. I'll give you religiosity. Another lady is telling, Ardha, I can give you whatever money you want, I'll give you. Another lady is telling, I can give you unlimited sense gratification, Kama. And another lady is telling, I'll give you impersonal liberation. So this dharma is coming and telling other three ladies, they are my maid servants. They are telling, will become your maid servants and serve you. All we need is allow us to come inside. So, oh, wait, don't waste my time. Don't spoil my reputation. Up andar aavo mat. Why? What? Why? Recently, this boy started coming. Kishora. Kishora means adolescence. Krishna is always 16 only. So, when you perform bhakti, Daivena, Divya Kishora Murti, that 16-year-old boy will come. And he starts having loving exchanges with you. And your happiness is unlimited. Happiness is unlimited. Minute to minute, there is a variety. And he's telling, I don't have time to look at you. Sorry. Ah. So, that's why Rupa Goswami writes in Lalita Madhava, and Rupa Goswami writes in Lalita Madhava, one should not look for materialistic perfections like siddhis, Brahmanical perfections, like reciting mantras, or anima, garima, lagama, mahima, prapti, vasaita, kamya, kasur, kamya, vasaita, all these mystics, one should not look for, right? And one should not look for impersonal liberation, Brahmananda. You should know you're going away from bhakti the moment you look for this, right? Then what is that we should look for? Pure Krishna Prema. What is that we should look for? Pure love of Krishna. As long as we look for this, Krishna Prema will not enter. As long as we want adoration, profit, distinction, as long as we are diplomatic, as long as we have an acceptable behavior, you know, next lifetime better luck. Wow. Then I want only this lifetime. Then give it up. Actually, I'm telling this to remind myself, Prabhu, give it up, please. You know? So pure bhakti. What is pure bhakti? Anya bhilashata sunyam. Jnana karmadi anavratam. What is pure bhakti? No? If everyone in the temple practices, everyone in the community practices pure bhakti, there won't be any problems. What is pure bhakti? No abhilasha. No anya abhilasha. There is no other desire in performing bhakti. Only one desire, please Krishna only. So anya abhilasha sunyam, zero. You don't have other desire to say, in serving Krishna. What is your desire? Serve Krishna only, only, only. And that is bhakti. So when you're performing service, that's why Prabhupada translate this to devotional service, not the devotional sentiment. Devotional seva, devotional service, not just meditation. So you're rendering service to Krishna and your desire, what is the desire? What is the background? You want to please only Krishna or you want to please only Guru. And that our bhakti should be free from a jnana and a karma. It should be free from a fruitive activity and a impersonal knowledge. Anukulyena. Serve Krishna favorably. Kamsa thought of Krishna, but Vaira Bhava, that's why it is not favorable. Shishupal thought of Krishna, it's Vaira Bhava, it was not favorable. Gopis surrendered service to Krishna, thought of Krishna, Anukulyena. That is the Uttama Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti. So what happens when we do that? There will be two effects of Shuddha Bhakti. What is that? Sarvopadi vinirmuktam. You will become free from all the designations, all the upadhis. Because any problem happens in your life, anything happens in your life, in the back of the mind, you know, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, I'm a professor, I am this, I'm in America, I am America returned, I. These are all designations, temporary. They have no existence, right? But when you practice Shuddha Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti we already said, what is that? You don't have any other desire other than to please Guru and Krishna. That is a motive in serving, that is a motive in doing service to Krishna. And it is free from impersonal knowledge and a fruit activity. And you are favorably serving Krishna, Anukulyana. So when you do that, what happens? The two effects, you will become free from all the designations. You know, you come out, it will come out of bodily platform also. You know, otherwise I am man, I am woman, you know, I am married, my children don't listen to me, my husband doesn't listen, my wife. So whatever, like that. No, you know. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam. You become free from all the upadhis. Tat paratena nirmalam. Our senses become purified. Our senses become purified. Rishikena Rishikesh Sevanam Bhaktiruchyate. With that purified senses, we perform bhakti to Krishna, the control of senses. So, what happens? You become freed from designations. And what is that? Our senses are purified by such service. Right? Eventually, senses will be controlled also. Hare Krishna. Eventually, senses will be controlled also. Sorry. So, what are the characteristics of bhakti? Kapila Muni is telling in Bhagavad third canto. Madguna sruti matrena mai sarvaghasaye mano bhakti ravichinna yata ganga amba sombadau. The minds of devotees come to simply by hearing about Krishna, the minds of devotees will go towards Krishna. You know, the way Ganga goes towards, what is the goal of Ganga? To reach ocean. Likewise, just by hearing Krishna, you will have one quality. What is that? You want to go towards Krishna. And Karuna and all, they are very good impetuses because you understand. You know, before Karuna, everyone okay, perform bhakti. Now, when they say honored, this many thousands of people, woo, can you imagine 195,000 people died in America alone? They also had so many desires like us. They have had so many aspirations. Huh? So when devotees are that, you know, it's good. Increase your same, you know, hearing, increase your hearing. When you hear about Krishna, you are like a Ganga flowing towards ocean. You will go towards Krishna. You are attracted to Krishna. Krishna has one quality. What is that? Krishna attracts. Akarshayati iti Krishna. Krishna attracts. Swatvaime Nanya Vishaya Madhur Madhupate Sukrutal Ratim Udva Hata Datta Gangi Omkam Udanvati. Kunti is praying. My Lord, the way Ganga has natural attraction for Sagar, ocean. You know, please give me that type of attraction to your lotus feet. Hare Krishna. So by hearing the about Krishna, we develop attachment. Yada ajnasit tashrunu. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, listen about me. Why? By listening about Krishna, we develop attachment and attraction towards Krishna. And we go towards Krishna. Lakshanam bhakti yogasya nirgunasya hi udahrutam ayutiki avyavahita ya bhaktir purushottame. That type of bhakti is beyond three modes. Causeless and ceaseless. You know? And that bhakti is never obstructed. Wow. And very important thing, I would say pure bhakti, what is that? Devotees, they don't want even liberation. You know? Salokya sarshti samipya sarupekatvam apyuta adivyamanam na grannanti vina mat sevanam jana. So devotees, they don't want liberation. Lord Chaitanya offers Kola Sridhar. College Sridhar, Sridhar, how many troubles you have endured? I'll make you equal to Kubera. Sridhar said, I don't want. All right, Sridhar, I'll give you mystic perfections. I don't need. I'll make you emperor for the whole universe. I don't need, my lord. All right, I'll give you liberation. No, no. All right, you come to, come back. One of the liberations, Vaikuntha, planets, you can come back. You accept liberation, come back and stay with me in Vaikuntha. Sridhar said, in the spiritual world, I don't need that also. And what do you need? Accept service, I don't need. Wow. He said, I don't need. Sridhar asks Sridhar, I want to give something, Sridhar. My lord, you're asking me, that's why I'm asking you. That boy used to come in my child, you're like, earlier, and he would come and pester me every day and bargain. Finally, he would not buy anything, he would bargain, suddenly he would take a pumpkin away. That boy is not coming nowadays because he became big man. Who is that Lord Chaitanya? So, birth out of birth, you should come to me and pester me. You should engage me in discussions. You know, wow. Lord Chaitanya said, granted. Still, Lord Chaitanya want to tell, want to give. So after this, what is that? During Chand Kazi, after discussion with Lord Chand Kazi, Lord Chaitanya was, he was thirsty. Mother Lakshmi, she created the ponds of nectar so that Lord would, would not need to look for water everywhere. But Lord Chaitanya went and he picked up the broken pot of Sridhar. That broken pot outside his home, has water that Sridhar would use to wash his feet. Hare Krishna. Lord Sridhar picked up, Lord Chaitanya picked up, started drinking. Sridhar came and said, my lord, what are you doing? The water I used to drink, I used to wash my feet. You're drinking? Sridhar fainted. And he got up and said, my lord, why are you doing this? Lord Chaitanya said, what can I tell you? How many times I asked you? Kuch mango na, you asked something. But you didn't even ask anything. How can I tell you? How can they tell the world that I am your servant? I want to tell the world that I am your servant, Sridhar. Wow. The spiritual world, who is dominant? Bhakti, love is dominant. So how many times I told you to ask, and you don't, you just, I take service from you, don't give anything, I want to give in return. So when Arjun tells Krishna, Senior Bhyor Madhya Radham Stape Machita, oh infallible Krishna, you take my chariot and place it in between the armies. Krishna was so glad. I have become, my devotee is giving instructions. I am his servant, not his direct servant. I am servant of his horses. The horses are servant of Arjun. I am servant of my devotee. You know, but Sridhar is telling, I don't want anything. So what is if you understand this, you'll become bhakti yogi only. You know, devotee says, my lord, I am your servant. Krishna says, I am your servant. Wow, amazing, right? So this pure bhakti, mm, that's why when you perform bhakti, you are automatically you become free from three modes. You become free from three modes when you perform bhakti. But for bhakti, there are two witches. For bhakti, there are two witches. What are those? Bhakti and mukti. What is bhakti? Bhakti means desire for material enjoyment. What is bhakti? Bhakti means a desire for a material enjoyment. Mukti means liberation, especially impersonal liberation. Devotees consider liberation as hellish, becoming one with God. Impersonal liberation is a hellish. Kaivalya narakayate. There is a sapur akasa pushmayate. Kaivalya means especially becoming one with God. It is what? Narakayate. Kaivalya narakayate. You know, Becoming one with God is a hellish. Durdendandre kalasarpapatli proktad damshtrayate. So anyway, Kaivalya is a hellish. Kaivalya is a hellish. Hare Krishna. And two things are deadly enemies to the bhakti. What are the two things? First one is a sense enjoyment. What the first one is a material enjoyment. As long as we have this material enjoyment, we cannot go anywhere. And impersonal liberation. These two are the witches on the path of bhakti. These two are the witches on the path of bhakti. You know, we'll go nowhere. We'll go nowhere actually. One has to be very careful. Otherwise, on this path of bhakti, you're stopped like a speed breaker or what do you call it? A toll. You have money? No. You have bhakti money to go forward? I have bhakti money, sense gratification. Then stay here. Your vehicle cannot go further. I'll go back. Or I want to become impersonal. You know, I want impersonal liberation. Stay here only. I want impersonal liberation. All right, stay here only. Or I want eight mystic perfections. Little, what do you call? I want mystic siddhis, anima, garima, ligama. They'll help in preaching. All right, stay here only. Keep on preaching. You go nowhere, the followers will go nowhere. Hare Krishna. Right? So as long as we harbor these two things as material sense enjoyment and impersonal liberation, and they are the witches on the path of bhakti. You know, should I continue for some time or end it? I can end it. It's already 8:32. What we'll do? Um, so we'll finish one little topic and we'll finish it. So the gradual development of prema in stages. I'll just take 3-4 minutes. What is that? When you perform sadhana, what happens? You develop attraction to Krishna Rati. That attraction will become prema, love of God. That will transfer. That will go next stage, sneha, affection. It will further go to mana, man. You know, man means what? Anger. Mahabhava. The reason it's called abhorrence. Mahabhava means ecstasy. Bhava, ecstasy. Anuraga, further attachment. Raga, attachment. Pranaya, love. Can you imagine? First of all, many religions or many sampradayas, they don't even talk about it. But we are, recently I heard after Prema also there are 16 more stages. That is Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Amazing. Anyway, what is that? This different levels of the development of Prema is compared to, like, when you boil the sugarcane juice, um, if you want to give extract sugar, what is the first one? Seed. Then seed will develop into sugarcane plant, big plant. Then you take the juice out. Then you start boiling it. When you start boiling molasses, good, jaggery. Then you, you know, then you further boil it. This good will become a dry good. Then you boil further. Then it will become sugar, sukkar. Then you boil further. It will become candy. You'll boil further. Then it will misri, rock candy. And you'll boil further. You know, pure misri, lozenges, sugar, granulated sugar. So likewise, uh, so all these states are called sthai bhava. We saw that, right? Shraddha, ato shraddha, tado sadhu sangota. And your little faith, Krishna will give you shraddha. If you have little faith, Krishna will give you association of devotees. Then they'll tell you to chant. You get initiated, bhajana kriya. Then impurities start going away, anadana nivritti. Then what happens? Nishta, you'll become fixed up. Ruchi, you'll develop taste. Asakti, attachment. You know, Asakti. Then bhava, ecstasy. Sthai bhava, refined ecstasy. Ecstasy thickens. Then prema. When sthai bhava, when all these states are combined, they're called sthai bhava. Continuous love of God in devotional service. When sthai bhava is mixed with the symptoms of vaibhava, anubhava, satvika and vibhichari, the devotee relishes Krishna Bhakti Rasa in variety of nectarian tastes. These tastes are like a combination of yogurt, sugar candy, ghee, black pepper, and camphor, and are as palatable as sweet nectar. So next week we'll discuss about the primary rasas and secondary rasas. So that will take us to Vrindavan. You know, and we also will discuss little what happens in Vaikuntha platforms also. Aishwarya Jnana Mishrati Kevala Rati. Aishwarya Mixra Jnana Rati is seen in Vaikunthas and it's seen in Dwaraka. It is also sometimes seen in Mathura. But the pure Kevala Rati is seen only in Vrindavan. What is the difference? We'll see that next week. Thank you very much. And I hope everyone is following this Purushottam month nicely. Dandavata Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. I'm